everybody, this is Lloyd with Just Got Played. That might be Steven. That might be E-Rock. I don't know. My screen is all messed up. But we are going to go over our December plays and let you know exactly what we liked the best out of the games we played in the last month. So let's start with E-Rock. What was your top game for December?
We actually did manage to play quite a lot of things this month. So once again, this was kind of a hard decision. I'm going to go with Ginkgopolis. This is a game that's from 1 to 5 players. I don't want to get too much into how to play this game because it would take a little bit. It's kind of complicated, but basically it's a city building tile stacking game with area control. I'll just talk about a couple of things I really like about the game. First of all, you have a hand of 4 cards, and you're going to play one of these cards, maybe with a tile. It's not that important for these purposes, but and then you're going to pass them to the next player. So you don't have like this hand of cards that you're building up and planning this grand strategy. You just have to play the best thing you've got every time the cards come around to you. I like that. It makes it very tactical, so nobody gets really that deep into, right, this turn I'm going to do this, and the next turn I'm going to do that. You just kind of play what you can with what you got. And I really like the way the game scores, because basically this whole time you're building up, like I said, like stacking tiles on top of each other and building so you can either build up or you can build out. But you're building the city and you're putting your colors on it. And at the end of the game, there's basically 3 colors, blue, red, and yellow. And everything that's connected of the same color is called a district. And then at the end of the game, you score majorities on these districts. Well, as you're putting the tiles down, you're completely changing the landscape of what is districts and what connects. And you can go from something that's like really large, and then somebody puts a tile down right in the middle of it and splits it. Now you have 2 different districts scoring, not nearly as many points because they're smaller, and maybe you just completely changed who's leading in these districts as well. So this whole thing's like evolving through the game as you're making these very tactical decisions with this hand of cards that just keeps passing as you go. I really enjoy this game. It's been out for quite a long time. It's been like 9 years. But you couldn't get it.
Yeah, that was a grail game for people for a while, right? Because that first printing was gone for a long time. People were charging a lot for it, and there were always rumors about a reprint, but then it finally happened, right?
Yeah, it actually finally happened. Quite frankly, I wanted to put this on my Christmas list as one of my, I think it was mid-range choices, but I couldn't find it again. I was like, oh, already I couldn't find it again. And then we actually had some friends stop by from Colorado, and they said they picked it up they just stopped by, right?
You're in the neighborhood.
I'm in Florida, just saying. So anyway, they found it at their local game store. They said there was like a stack of them. So I'm kind of hoping you can actually still get this game somewhere because it is awesome. If it goes out of print again, it's going to be worth a fortune, I'm sure. This is not a stock tip, so don't invest your money. I'm just saying, get one. It's really fun.
This is a stock tip. Don't ever invest money in board games. So I played this. I played this game at Dice Tower Con one time, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not one that I went out looking for a copy of because, again, at the time it was out of print anyway. But yeah, it's a solid game.
That's funny because I also first played this at a Dice Tower Con off the library copy, and I was like, wow, this game's really good. So I was kind of on a quest to get one ever since then. That's interesting. Anyway.
I have never played it.
Well, you should. It's really cool. It's not Euro-y at all. You just play cards and put these tiles out. So, and at the end of the game, somebody wins.
And yeah, you are in your face with your opponents. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, what was it called again?
Ginkgopolis.
Say that 3 times fast.
Ginkgopolis.
Okay. I will add it to my list to maybe look for that I can't find in this.
Or, play with us sometime.
All right. Steven, what is your top game of the last 30 days?
I didn't play a lot of games, but I still had a hard choice because there were a couple, I was debating between that I really enjoyed. But I decided to go with a classic that is new again. So there's this game Metro, and Metro was originally printed in, I think, 1997, and then it got reprinted in 2009 as Cable Car or San Francisco Cable Car. And then it got reprinted again in 2017 as Metro again. And then they just recently delivered the Kickstarter version that I got of the Metro City Edition. So the Metro City Edition is what they, the printing going forward of this game. And I haven't played it with any of the sort of City Edition add-on stuff. I've only played essentially the way that I had before because I had a copy of the Cable Car version. And if you play just the basic way, it's really simple. You have a tile and you're placing it on a map, and that tile has different rail lines on it. And eventually all the spaces on the map are going to get filled up, and you have your color around the edge, and you're just trying to connect it to another part on the map. And if you connect it to the middle, you get double points. If you connect it off to the side of the board somewhere, you just get regular points for that. And so it's simple, connect. Eventually all your trains are going to get connected and they're all going to get scored. So how can you lay tiles to make the most intricate path? Because the longer paths give you more points, right? And I like the game that way. But what really elevates the game for me is some of the versions of the game, including the Kickstarter Deluxe Big Box that I just received and the Cable Car version that I had before, have the Stock Corporation version where you don't actually own a specific color. So there are all the lines around the edge of the board, but there's this separate market where you are swapping in and out and getting stocks in the different corporations, the different rail lines, the different colors. And so it adds that sort of stock market thing. We're like, well, I own 40% of blue and 20% of red, and so now it's not just, one person working on trying to score one specific color. You might be piling on to somebody else doing something. And, and then sometimes your tiles are just not great for you. So you place them somewhere that's bad for your opponent instead, which is always fun. Somebody's trying to score big points getting into the middle and you just redirect them off to the side of the map instead, right? A defensive move. So really simple, here's a tile, play it. That's the game. But it's got layers, and I enjoy that. And I played it with my kids recently without the stock market piece. I played the basic version, and they enjoyed it too. So that's just an extra win for me.
Cool. And we just did the unboxing, so check the channel for that giant box with all the stuff.
Yeah, way overproduced, but I like the game, so I don't care.
That's another tile game. That's 2 in a row. Didn't we have Raw last month? We're
maybe
killing it on the tile.
I love tile games. I mean, Carcassonne is one of my favorite games. I like a lot of different games, but that Isle of Skye, I could name a lot of tile laying games that I enjoy. So yeah, that's one of my things, I guess.
Yeah, when you name them off, there's a lot of good ones. We don't really play that many tile games, I think, but yeah, that's just interesting. And for our next tile game, Lloyd.
I did not play a tile game. Did we? No, there was no tiles. No tiles involved. So I did not play a lot of games with all of the holiday shopping and whatnot. I didn't get too many games in. So it came down to 2, and I kind of went with theme over the other one. So the one that was in my runner-up was a Abizia, Shifting Sands, which isn't my typical style of game. It's point salad, Euro-y, stay out of each other's way until you strategically don't stay out of their way. And instead I went with the new pandemic system, World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. And that is similar to the Reign of Cthulhu version, where you have instead of having cubes come out on the map, you have little bad guys, and they're little scourge guys, and you have bigger bad guys that are abominations, and those take more action points to kill. The difference with this game is that your characters have hit points, and whenever you in your space on any space that has bad guys and you fight there, if you don't wipe all the bad guys off the map, then they all hit you at the end of that combat. So it's not a easy just walk up and clear the whole space. Same thing with the big bad guys. And then it's also got a kind of a variable setup for each of the 3 zones. So there's 3 different quests that you have to do, and they all have different, they have like a different route of things you have to do. So they have different patterns you have to complete with cards and dice rolls. And it seems like they just took that pandemic system and they just keep layering stuff on to make a slightly different game. And it feels a little bit different, but it's still, if you've played Pandemic, you kind of have a good idea of what it's doing. You still have, the normal deck with the outbreaks coming out instead of there being outbreaks. It's putting more guys out on the map and it's putting big guys out on the map. And this one's, World of Warcraft theme. So you have if you're a World of Warcraft fan, then you have tons of, thematic elements in there with all of the stuff. As we were reading the directions, one of the guys is a big WoW fan, and he was just like, he didn't need to read any of the backstory that was there. He could just say it because he played WoW for 10 years. So it is a really good production. Look for the video because we just unboxed it. I unboxed it. So that should be up at some point here in the near future. But that was my top play of the month. Simple, straightforward.
Yeah, I like Pandemic. I like the Pandemic game system. I haven't played. I mean, I tried Pandemic Legacy Season 1, but I don't think I've played any of the other flavors of Pandemic. And I don't know if it's just because maybe none of them really grabbed me thematically, but I don't know. It's like I've got Pandemic and I've played Pandemic, so why would I play these other ones? But I don't know. Maybe it is just the thematic connection.
Well, so I haven't played the Fall of Rome or Rising Tides or any of those other offshoot ones. I played Reign of Cthulhu and this one. And this one is like another step up on top of Reign of Cthulhu. And it adds different things. Like you have the dice rolls to do combats. You're actually fighting. You're not just going around clearing stuff. So there is a little bit more going on than just move to space, clear cubes, move to space, clear cubes. Reign of Cthulhu has that, but you don't really have life points. You have madness in that game. And as you fight different things, you could lose your sanity. In this one, instead of having that, your character actually has, hit points. And each character is a little bit different. They all have their own special abilities like, the normal game does. But having those hit points changes the way things kind of operate. And you have to kind of focus where you want to go. And it's not... I don't know. It feels like Pandemic because you're doing a lot of the same things. You're moving around the map and putting stuff out on the board, but they've added so much to it that the actual mechanisms for doing that are completely fresh. Like you're not doing the same. It's not just we replaced cubes with little guys. There is actually some difference to what you're doing. It feels different. So yeah, I don't know. Those two feel the most difference. I mean, like I said, I've never played Fall of Rome, but that one's supposed to be really good. And then you're, using little soldiers and whatnot in that one. So I think they switch it up a little bit for each game. And then they just keep kind of adding those layers on with each new version. They introduce something slightly different.
E-Rock, where do you fall in the Pandemic spectrum?
It's a landmark, it's a classic. I enjoy the Legacy series. I feel like it falls victim to the alpha gamer too much, quite frankly. I think that's the prototypical. If you've got an alpha gamer, they're going to tell everybody what to do, and that's what. And you know what? They're probably right. That probably is the best thing to do, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
And on a side note, this is not the time or the place, and I understand that, but I just can't get behind Blizzard anymore. So there's that. I'm sorry.
That doesn't help. But yeah, now that you mention it about alpha gaming, I'm not sure that's the problem in my group, but my group just doesn't really like co-ops. So maybe that's also why I'm not really hot on trying a lot of different versions of Pandemic because who am I going to try them with?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like co-ops, but I like it when everybody has some agency in it, and I like the ones where you really can't. You just can't alpha game it because everybody might have their own deck of or hand of cards or something, so you can't see them and they have to make their own choices. That's excellent. I love the the talk around the table to get to the right place. But somebody saying, no, you should do this. No, you should do that. That's not fun for anybody except that one person, usually.
Man,
but Pandemic's a classic.
Yeah. And Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert, right? Those are the precursors, I guess. Those are classics too. So,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we should do a video sometime and talk about all the good ways to avoid the alpha gamer problem. There's like at least 6 I can think of good ways. We should talk about them. Yeah.
And none of those are violence, right?
That's right. And none of them are violence. I mean, these are ways that the game designer can avoid the alpha gamer problem in their game.
Not us.
I don't mean tie people down and make them shut up or something. No. I don't.
Put them on timeout.
I'm not advocating for that on this channel. No, sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I think that's it, right? We all picked a game. So that was our top plays for the month.
And for the end of 2021.
Yeah, that's true.
It is.
Maybe we should do top play of the year.
That's what I'm talking about.
But not right now.
So we'll do that one instead of January. We'll do top plays of the year. We'll just be a month behind.
Yeah, let's do
now we're making all kinds of promises. See you next time, people. Next time, live bears. Yeah.
I think that's a good note to go out on.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a comment or hit the like button. It really does help us out. If you have suggestions for future videos, let us know in the comments as well, and then subscribe to see what we come up with next.